Imagine if one day all smartphones disappeared, or you found yourself in the middle of the sea with nothing but a flashlight, or wanted to talk about people without them knowing. What do you do? Morse code is a way of transmitting messages in short and long signals. It's the OG tool of digital communication, even before telephones were a thing. Morse code is a byproduct of tragedy, or so the story goes. A portrait painter named Samuel Morse was on a painting gig when he received a letter telling him that his wife had passed away. Morse was in Washington, D.C., and his wife was 500 kilometers away in New Haven, Connecticut. So by the time news traveled to Morse, it was already too late. His wife had been dead for 6 days. Morse couldn't even get back in time for her burial. So, frustrated by the snail's pace of messages at the time, he set out to create a new way of communication. And over the next 12 years, he developed a code that could travel along the electric wires of the telegraph and enable high-speed, long-distance correspondence. The code that Morse created? You guessed it, the Morse code. It's a system that turns letters, numbers, and punctuation marks into long-duration signals, short-duration signals, or a combination of both. The short signal is represented by a dot or dit. The long signal is a dash or a dot. Here's how the modern version of Morse code looks. And yes, I agree, it's scary. A is dit da, E is dit, V is dit 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 da. But why? How? Why? The system sure looks confusing at first glance because there are no apparent correlations between the letters and the assigned patterns of dots and dashes. Except, it's not completely random. Morse relied more or less on the letter frequency in the English language to build the system. The most used letters were assigned the shortest codes, which meant the shortest transmission duration. E, at the top of the list, for example, was encoded as or 1 time unit. T, in second spot, is or the equivalent of 3 dots. J, which is one of the least occurring letters, is or 13 dot times. Morse code is all about efficiency and speeding things up. And now, on to the most important question. How do you learn Morse code? Well, you could do it the conventional way by sitting down and listening to the dits and das over and over and over again until your ears bleed and you pick up what each letter sounds like. More on that later. But that's not the only way. In fact, there are plenty of methods out there to help have Morse code on lock and in short periods of time. Take this binary tree for example. All the right branches correspond to a dot, all the left branches represent a dash. Starting from the top, every level down is an extra signal. S, for example, is a dot, dot, dot. X is a dash, dot, dot, dash. Another way is the tracing method, where the dots and dashes are incorporated into the shapes of each alphabetical letter. These visual mnemonic techniques might be easy to grasp for some, but not me. I found them to be not intuitive, and so I decided to take a different approach and learn a verbal mnemonic called the word association technique. And I managed to memorize it in just 100 minutes. Here's how it went. It's noon, and 100 minutes on the clock means that the alarm is going to sound at 1:40 p.m. Let's do this. I'm going to write the letters of the alphabets as well as the Morse code associated with each letter. This system as it is doesn't make much sense. It's just dashes and dots and dots and dots and dashes, and not in any logical way in relation to the letters. And so we'll see how I'm going to remember that. But I think it's important because eventually it's all about the ears and not the eyes to just listen to what these letters are going to sound like in Morse code. How will this ever make any sense? So for each letter of the alphabet, I will come up with a word or a phrase that will basically do two things. Help me remember the letter and help me remember the patterns of dots and dashes. Remember, the dots are the quick, short signals and the dashes are the long, more drawn out signals. The words are going to mimic that. They're going to stress on certain syllables, which will stand for the dashes, and the syllables that will not be stressed will represent the dots. Wikipedia has already done the job for me. They've put together different words for each letter, and I think that because I have a lot of options, I could choose whichever one I think I could remember the easiest. What they've done is they've put the dot in small letters and then the dashes are in uppercase. And that is where the emphasis when I remember that word should be. A is apart. Dot, dash. Apart. Bob's the man. Bob's the man. Dash, dot, dot, dot. Eh? No, really, that's what they have. Eh? Did I fail it? I probably will fail it. 4 dots. Ha 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 ha. More milk! More milk! I don't drink milk. Oh my god. A poopy smell. A poopy smell. A poopy smell. S is sí. Hablo español, señor. I don't know, out of a sudden I feel sleepy. I think my brain is overheating. 10:54. So we've been doing this for almost an hour. And we haven't finalized the system. Underwear! 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 The World War. The World War. The World War. Zaza did it. Who's Zaza? Doesn't really matter. Zaza did it. Writing the system is done. We have 26 words or phrases that are associated with the 26 letters of the alphabet. Hopefully I was able to remember the rhythm of each word. I did do a bit of revision while I was writing it down, but I think now it would serve me well to just go over the whole thing from A to Z and see if it really stuck. A. Apart. Bob's the man. Why am I forgetting Coca-Cola? Dad did it. Did I fail it? K. 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 Nigel. Underwear. Once I see the letter, I can immediately think of the word and then write it down. However, there are some letters whose words associations I'm still not memorizing 100%. But what I'm going to do is to go back to the recordings that I listened to at the beginning and try to listen to them right now to see if they make a little bit more sense. I. X mark the spot. Zaza did it. Zaza did it. Oof. It is 1:42. It has been 100 minutes. A crazy 100 minutes. And I think I just memorized the Morse code. It's in these 26 phrases and words and really weird stresses and emphasizing weird syllables. But this is it. And now we're gonna put it to the test. Fingers crossed. 2:14 and the break is over. To be honest, I still feel tired. I didn't expect that learning Morse code is going to take so much brain power, but we'll have to power through this. I mean, I think I've memorized the system, and now it's a matter of trying to apply it. I found this worksheet online where they give you words and then you'll have to find the Morse code for buzz. Bob's the man. Underwear. Zaza. Then another one. Bob. B. U is buzz. It's spelled help. No, it should be hello. Help. No, pressing too hard. Hello. SOS. Not bad. Not bad. Now, I'm going to see if I can do the opposite thing, which is start with a Morse code and try to figure out what the word is. This is where it gets hard, because the system that I learned starts with the letter and then goes into the sounds, the patterns of long and short signals. And so now I have to work backwards, and that might be problematic. But we'll see. Is H. What is dot dash dash? Do I have to go over everything again? Okay, let's see. What is it? It's not A. It's not B. It's not B. I wrote it wrong. Okay, hat. Which one is it? Oh, do I have to go over it again? It's G. Get. I get it now. Okay. I. Oh. Kyoto? Wait a minute, this is not I. N. Naughty. Oh, this is harder than expected. This is frustrating. Zaza did it. Quiz. Quiz. It's a naughty quiz, and yes, it has been extremely naughty, this quiz. So many knots that I need to untangle. I need more practice, and my only worry is that if someone was banging on the wall asking for help, help will not arrive soon if it were up to me, because I will need quite some time to decipher what the message that they're sending is. But as they say in Chinese, man man lai. We'll get there at one point. So yes, technically you can learn Morse code in a very short period of time, and sure, I've only scratched the surface, but hey, you have to start from somewhere. Encoding the signals, basically turning words into dots and dashes, sounds, was a piece of cake because I was directly applying the mnemonic. But what I found to be difficult was going the opposite way, or decoding the signals, turning the sounds, dots and dashes, into letters. I found myself spending a lot of time trying to guess which sound matches which letter, and that is a problem if I were to communicate, as in send and copy signals in real time. And that's something that a lot of Morse coders have warned against. Morse code is an auditory process, and so it's recommended to treat it as such instead of seeing it in terms of dots and dashes written out on paper. Mnemonics, what they do in this situation is that they simplify the link between a letter and the corresponding tone by putting it through a translator, either verbal or visual. And this helps the brain connect the dots between the two and makes it easier to memorize Morse code. But when it comes time to apply the system, decoding and encoding signals, this added layer at the beginning that helped us is manifesting as an extra step that slows things down. The common advice that kept repeating itself over and over again online is to just lose the visuals and learn the sound of a letter as a sound. That's the surefire way towards automatism. And in a way, this is exactly how we've learned the alphabets. No one looks at a T and in order to recognize that it's a T, says, this is the letter that has a horizontal short line on top of a vertical longer line. A T is a T for everyone. And in Morse code, a T is a da, plain and simple. And so this is where training the ears becomes very crucial. It will take more than 100 minutes, but eventually you'll get there. That's not to say mnemonics are not without any merit. They're a gateway into this pretty cool language, and I'm sure that with a whole lot more repetition and exercises, I will get the hang of it. Probably not to a point where I would qualify to be on air, but I'm not pursuing this professionally, so I'm with it. I'm leaving all the resources in the description box below, so make sure to check them out if you want to add this nifty skill to your repertoire. If you're already fluent in Morse code, by all means share your experience with me. If you have another skill that you think I should give it a try, I want to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and until next time,